Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Zapata, and this is my review of William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. As a blossoming fan of Shakespeare, I felt like I had to do a review of one of his plays. Before I read the book, I decided to watch a recording of the play from the Texas Shakespeare Festival, which I have included a link to in the written portion of this presentation. I did this because Shakespeare is easier to understand and enjoy when it is viewed instead of read. The story is about a young girl named Viola, who is shipwrecked on the island of Illyria. She disguises herself as a boy after the supposed death of her twin brother Sebastian. Under the false name Cesario, she obtains employment for Duke Orisno, who sends her to try to woo the fair Olivia for him. Olivia has rejected all suitors because she is in mourning for the loss of her brother. After reading and viewing Twelfth Night, I walked away loving it. It's no Midsummer Night's Dream, but I still found it hilarious. The comedy that came from the mistaken identities and the way they carried the story to a sweet conclusion is truly a marvel of William Shakespeare. I don't know why Manga Classics hasn't adapted it into manga form yet, but I do endorse this legendary work of Shakespeare nonetheless. Just not for the main story. While the main story is amazing in its own right, the side story, featuring Olivia's uncle, Sir Toby, his friend, Sir Andrew, and the servants, really brought out most of the comedy for me. Their parts in the play made them seem jolly, and made me want to join in on the fun. Their mannerisms alone made the side story comedic to me. But when I re-examined the play, I found some parts which reminded me of points that were made in the Funny Business documentary. In one part of the side story, Sir Toby and the others were thinking of ways to get back at Malvolio for ruining their late-night fun. The servant Mary comes up with an idea. In her exact words, "Sweet Sir Toby, be patient for tonight, since the youth of the Count's was today with my lady. She is much out of quiet. For Monsieur Malvolio, let me alone with him. If I do not gull him into a nay word, and make him a common recreation, do not think I have wit enough to lie straight in my bed. I will drop in his way some obscure epistles of love, wherein, by the colour of his beard, the shape of his leg, the manner of his gait, the expressure of his eye, forehead, and complexion, he shall find himself most feelingly personated. I can write very much like my lady, your niece." In the following scene, we see that she forges a love letter to Malvolio, impersonating Olivia, and tricking him into thinking Olivia is in love with him. This impersonation through the text could be considered parody or satire, according to the Funny Business documentary. In this case, Mary is imitating Olivia through that love letter. She is also making kind of a mockery out of her by suggesting to Malvolio that she adores him in yellow stockings and in cross garters, which Mary knows Olivia dislikes. As a result of the letter, Malvolio ends up fulfilling two separate principles that were described in the Funny Business documentary at the same time. One of these principles is, quote, "An object or person can become funny by behaving in an unexpected way." When the audience is first introduced to Malvolio, he is a stern and respectable man who rarely smiles. After he reads the letter, his personality and behavior changes. His behavior becomes giddy and wacky, and he dresses in a ridiculous fashion while trying to woo Olivia. This builds on another point discussed further along in the documentary, specifically one of the three approaches from the comedian's manual of sexual relationships known as the romantic approach. Quote again, "The comedian's age zooms up from childhood to early adolescence. This leads us straight into the comedy of embarrassment, as all of the efforts to appear impressive are bound to come to grief. In the case of Malvolio, his age zooms down from adulthood to early adolescence, as his attempts to impress Olivia have the opposite effect and brand him as having gone insane. His first words when interacting with Olivia after receiving her letter says it all." "Sweet lady, ho ho."
"Smilest thou? I sent for thee upon a sad occasion."
"Sad lady? I could be sad. This does make some obstruction in the blood, this cross-gartering. But what of that? If it pleases the eye of one, it is with me as the very true sonnet, please one and please all."
How dost thou, man? What is the matter with thee?"
"Not black in my mind, though yellow in my legs." It is obvious to the audience that Olivia was much surprised by Malvolio's sudden change in demeanor. We, as the audience, see it as hilarious because we know why Malvolio is behaving this way. Malvolio doesn't know the love letter was fake, leading to him making a fool of himself in front of Olivia. In conclusion, I endorse Twelfth Night not for the main story with Viola, Olivia, and Duke Orisno, but for the side story with Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, Mary, and Malvolio. That being said, I would like to hear your opinions. Do you also find this side story as enjoyable as I did? Do you think it's superior in comparison to the main story of Twelfth Night? Why or why not? Thank you for watching.